Same thing, no difference. Color coded.
Good evening. The February 12, 2018 meeting of the Milltown Borough Council will now come to order. Will the administrator please call the roll?
Council President Dixon.
Here.
Councilman Farkas.
Here.
Councilwoman Kerber.
Present.
Councilman Ligotti.
Here.
Councilwoman Murr. Here. Councilman Revelinsky.
Here.
We have 6 present, Mr. Mayor.
That constitutes a quorum. We're all here.
Gang's all here.
Will the administrator please read the meeting statement?
Let the minutes reflect that adequate notice of the holding of this regular business meeting of the Borough Council was provided by the adoption of a resolution and the posting, filing, and forwarding of a copy of the same to the official borough newspapers, Home News Tribune, and Star Ledger Publishing Companies on January 1st, 2018. Public participation in this meeting will be permitted during public hearings and after the agenda of scheduled matters has been completed.
Thank you. Please rise for a moment of silent prayer, followed by a salute to our nation's flag. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. First on the agenda is a mayoral proclamation. Wish to proclaim March as Youth Art Month of 2018. Whereas art education contributes powerful educational benefits to all elementary, middle, and secondary students, including the following. Art education develops students' creative problem-solving and critical thinking abilities. Art education teaches sensitivity to beauty, order, and other expressive qualities. Art education gives students a deeper understanding of multicultural values and beliefs. Art education reinforces and brings to life what students learn in other subjects. Art education interrelates students' learning in art production, art history, art criticism, and aesthetics. Whereas our national leaders have acknowledged the necessity of including art experiences in all students' education. And now, therefore, I, Eric A. Stieber, Mayor of the Borough of Milltown, do hereby proclaim that support should be given to art teachers as they attempt to strengthen art education in their schools and communities. And be it further resolved, I, Eric A. Stieber, proclaim the month of March be observed as Youth Art Month for the year 2018. I urge all residents of Milltown to take interest in and give full support to quality school art programs for children and youth. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the official seal of the Borough of Milltown to be affixed this 12th day of February 2018. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is public hearings. We have a public hearing scheduled for ordinance number 18-1453. The ordinance has been published according to law. Copies have been made available to the public prior to tonight's meeting. I'd ask anybody wishing to speak in favor or against the ordinance, when recognized, please clearly state your name and address for the record. Will the administrator please read ordinance number 18-1453 by title only?
It's an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I will open the public hearing. Does anyone in the audience have anything they wish to say for or against? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and ask the council for their consideration.
Move that this ordinance be adopted on second and final reading and published according to law.
I second.
I have a motion by Council President Dixon, seconded by Councilwoman Kerber, that the ordinance be adopted on second and final reading and published according to law. Is there any discussion? Will the administrator please call roll?
Council President Dixon.
Aye.
Councilman Farkas.
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber.
Aye.
Councilman Ligotti.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer.
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky.
Aye.
We have 6 ayes, Mr. Mayor.
So moved. Okay. Next, we have a special public hearing to receive public input for expending housing and community development funds. And with that, I shall read the following statement. The purpose of the public hearing tonight regarding the housing and community development funds is to receive citizens' input on how the borough should spend any housing and community development funds that are allocated to the borough. Housing and community development funds are monies received from the federal government and administered by the county government. The use of housing and community development funds is limited to the use for projects involving senior citizens. Monies allocated last year were used for senior activities, improvements to the senior center, and senior transportation. This year, we are planning to apply for funds to be used for senior activities, replacement of windows in the senior center, and senior transportation. At this time, I will open the floor to public comment. If anyone from the public wishes to comment, please state your name and address for the record. With that, I will open the public portion.
Alan Gagba for Fern Place. You mentioned the senior centre and the improvement of windows. I would like to say that I'm very much in favour of that. I think it's long overdue because I've been at the senior centre a couple of times recently and seen the administrator there sitting there with an overcoat on because it is so cold. And priority number 1, I think, should be putting a double glazing on around that office. We also spend a lot of money on heating in that building, so anything we can do to... why the building was built with single glazing, I have no idea. But there are several parts of it that are really, really cold, so this is a very good thing to be doing.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, I will close the public portion. And I believe that's all the action we need to take.
Yes, no action is taken. No action needed.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. She wasn't here.
Next, we have audience comments and questions on resolutions and bills and claims listed on the agenda. If you have any questions, please use the microphone, center of the room. Give your name and address for the record when recognized. Remember, comments and questions are limited to the resolutions and bills and claims listed on the agenda. With that, I will open audience comments.
Good evening, Russell Einbinder, 220B South Main Street, Chairman of the Cable Advisory Committee and the station manager for Channel 15, and also the guy that put together the current laptop that runs our Milltown website currently, and somebody that probably has more knowledge about website than anybody else in this room, I'm pretty sure. I see here on the consent agenda, number 18-076, something about a resolution of the council to authorize execution of a contract with Civic Plus for the redesign of the borough website in an amount not to exceed, and this is what opened my eyes, $19,800. Now, I don't know, hopefully somebody will tell me who pursued this on the council or somebody else here. I know nobody asked me any input on it, and as far as I know, nobody asked our current webmaster, Joe Pietanza, on it, because he and I discussed it yesterday. All right, and he's been doing it as a volunteer since 2009, since I sent him over the computer. I was helping out when Chris Grokoff first started this, when he was on the committee with me and TV. I think that was in 2002 or 3. I forgot exactly, to be honest with you, off the top of my head. The site needs to be updated horribly. As a matter of fact, 5 years ago, I built a website and WordPress, showed it to then Councilwoman Murray and some other people, and they said, oh, that's nice. It was much more efficient. It was totally free. I said, I'll maintain it, and then show Joe how to do it. It'll be so much easier. You can do it the way it's supposed to be done, and we'll look like we belong in this, decade. And it'll get the information out there in a better, more expedient way, including everything else. And if we have to pay a little bit of money to make it a little nicer, fine. I was told, oh no, somebody's already taken care of that and got swept aside. So I put it aside. I heard somebody say in the last year or two that we need to get our website better. Mr. Eberlinski, I know you were very concerned about it, and rightfully so. And you and I have talked about it too, that it needs to be done better, just like I want to update the TV station. I don't care if we spend $80,000 or $8,000 or $8. But you need to ask people that know what they're doing, not necessarily just me, but that know what we really need in it, okay? I have researched this ad nauseum for years, looked at many, many other towns. One person approached me and said, Russell, what do you think about it? After I've offered ad nauseum my services for free, okay? I mean, I don't understand. I'm not even insulted. It's not like that. What I don't understand is, what could we possibly do as a small borough of 7,000 people that would require a resolution that would need, like, for the life of me, I know a little bit about what websites cost, okay? I know what they cost very well. I have some very close friends that make a lot of money doing this. $19,000, somebody needs to tell me what that's about, and then I'll be glad to shut up and listen if somebody can just tell me where this is coming from and what we're going to get for that kind of money.
Mr. Mayor,
may I? Oh.
I think
Somebody tell me.
Sure.
I'll try and explain some of it because I did a lot of the legwork on it last year with Gabriella.
Okay.
There was 3 companies that were pursued for updating our website, which is in dire need of it.
Yep.
We need a professional company to come in and revamp and redo our website. No disrespect to you at all. You're getting excited over a $19,800 number. It's a 5-year contract, which brings it to about less than $4,000 per year over the next 5 years.
That's substantially better.
Okay. In the end of the 4th year, there is a stipulation for a website refresh as well. There was a lot of time and effort that was put into this. 3 companies gave substantial presentations on our website. The company that we went with, Civics Plus, is by far, and when I say by far, the most used in municipalities in New Jersey.
I know who they are.
Right. And their price, and they're a state contracted company as well. This was not taken lightly. There was a lot of research gone into it. Mr. Piatanza, who currently maintains our website, was in on the initial meeting. He's well aware of getting 3 different companies in, and he was in on the initial meeting. Things happened after that the other companies exceeded the threshold, things along those lines, and I'm assuming, because I wasn't part of the end result, but it would have been my recommendation as last year on the Finance Committee to recommend this company because it far outweighed the other 2, which were very substantial companies as well. But this particular company, based on their experience and based on the cost over 5 years, is the best bang that this town is going to get, and I fully support this particular resolution.
Well, yeah, I just wish it was a little clearer that it was a longer term, in the resolution. I see you can see why I reacted the way I did, right?
I see where you got excited.
You understand that.
And
Okay.
Russ, we appreciate all of your help, of course. And this is only to get it started to do the bid with them. And then so they will build the skeleton, and we, of course, will certainly reach out to you to help flesh it out with content.
I don't expect to be asked.
Department heads will be involved. I have volunteered to be involved as well, and we will certainly reach out to you and probably to any volunteers that want to do it, because we're going to need your input on that once the skeleton is built to really build it the way that we need to have it so that the residents can.
I'm a dinosaur by now, actually. There's lots of kids and other people in town that know more than all of us sitting here right now do.
No,
I know they do.
actually,
and they should be helping us.
I think it would be nice to have a group get together and say what they would like, and you could certainly, I think, be extremely helpful to that process.
I can communicate a little bit sometimes when I'm not excited.
Right.
But seriously, I like doing things for the town. You know that, and you guys are all up here because you like it too. And I don't get political. You all know that. I've made that very clear. I do get a little upset as a neighbor and a friend to most of you when I see you not getting along, but I say that to you off the screen. I don't say it here too often. Eric and I were neighbors for a long time, and we couldn't agree more that we need to really start communicating with each other more and more so things really get done in a progressive fashion for this town. Because lately, I see things like this, and every time I look at something not being done for the TV station or something not being done for picking up leaves or doing trees, whatever, I'm always thinking like there's some political motivation behind it. I never used to feel that way in this town, and now I feel like every time something gets brought up here, it's like there's like some political motivation behind it, and it's making me insane as a citizen of this town to have to deal with that. And trust me, as somebody that has over 1,000 friends on Facebook and runs the 4th of July site and other things, okay, with the Facebook, and gets lots of comments and lots of people coming to me, calling me about things because they think I know things. I'm more frustrated than anybody that we're not moving forward with a lot of things that need to be done in this town. And I just can't sit back and let things like this happen without questioning it. Now thank you for the answer. Nick, that was very good. Thank you.
And I think part of the reason that we wanted to update the website is to have more information for the public so that they don't have to question things on Facebook. They can go directly to the source and see on the borough website what's going on, and they won't have to wonder. They can have a feed. They can see what problems there are. So the update of the website is hopefully going to alleviate some of those concerns.
I mean, and I talked about it with you, Dorian, as well. At chamber meetings and stuff too. I want to make it so whatever we do here is instantly available on our website with a link and all that kind of stuff, the actual meetings. Not just to a live stream, which is a free service. Maybe part of that 4,000, maybe some type of monetary way we can put some money aside so we can actually get a real streaming service like I've done with my temple, for instance, where people can just sign in and they can see what's going on in Milltown. Not things like the Little League, opening day and stuff like that, where I'm announcing kids' names and stuff. That's not going to ever happen on the website if I'm involved, obviously. But a lot of the things like this and other things that we do need to be seen. And we'll work together. Thanks.
Thanks, Russ.
Anyone else?
Phil Zambrana, 40 Van Loo Avenue. Piggybacking on the design of the website, very happy to see this show up on an agenda, long overdue. Just had a couple of questions. Is this in the 2018 temporary budget?
It'll be in the 2018 adopted budget. There is enough money right now in the temporary budget to pay for this item.
Okay. Are there goals and deadlines in this contract? I'm sort of looking for how quickly. Is there like a date that you're looking for this to go live?
I don't think
We
we're
don't
that
have a
far
go
advanced.
live. In my opinion, the sooner the better, but we don't have
Right.
an actual date yet.
Okay. I'm assuming this includes hosting and storage. Is this the type of thing where, is this the type of website where you're going to go from this point forward, or are you going to go back and actually put any historical data on there for people in the town to...
We can put historical data. They can move,
They're gonna
they can
move all
migrate
the
whatever we
information.
want, and it's just up to us as to how to organize it.
How many municipalities do they work with in the state of New Jersey?
I would say
Approximately.
in excess of 30.
30?
Yeah.
Okay. I had one more question. I see on the, there's a resolution here to have a 2017 budget appropriation reserve transfer. Where is that going from and to?
Give me 1 second. That's number 61. Sorry, I don't know it off the top of my head. Okay, there's money going out of the municipal clerk other expense, money going, transferring out of group insurance, police salary and wages, recycling other expense, vehicle maintenance other expense, and FICA. Going into social services and terminal leave. Terminal leave is the account that we build up money for when people retire and we have to pay out either their vacation time or their sick payout. So that's an accumulated.
What's the total of that?
The total is $45,000 in and $45,000 out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Seeing none, I will close audience comments. Next on the agenda is bills and claims. Will the clerk pardon me, will Madam Administrator please...
Authorizing the payment of bills, claims, and statements against the Borough of Milltown in the total amount of $5,220,500.14.
Okay, you've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
Move that this resolution be adopted.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Revelinsky, seconded by Council President Dixon, that the resolution is adopted. Is there any discussion? Will the Administrator please call roll?
Council President Dixon.
Aye.
Councilman Farkas.
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber.
Aye.
Councilman Legati.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer.
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky.
Aye.
We have 6 ayes, Mr. Mayor.
So moved. Okay, next we have reports of standing committees and introduction of resolutions. A consent resolution has been prepared to cover the 18 resolutions listed on this evening's agenda. If any member of the council would like any of them acted upon individually, please give me the number of the resolution and it will be removed from the consent resolution.
Mr. Mayor, 18-072 and 18-073.
Any others?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have questions about 18066, 180...
Hold it. 66, okay?
66, 069,
Okay.
and 071.
What's the other one?
71.
69, and 66.
Okay. I will have the Administrator read the consent resolution, which covers resolutions listed with the exceptions of 066, 069, 071, 072, and 073. Did I miss any, ladies and gentlemen?
Okay.
Yes.
Which one?
You got
You got 6-9? Sorry.
2 for Rich, 3 for...
69, yes.
I'm sorry. No.
Okay, we're good?
Would you like me to read the list again?
No. I got.
I'm asking the Administrator.
Whereas pursuant to the rules of council, the council may establish a consent agenda for any regular or special meeting, and whereas the Borough Clerk has posted a consent agenda for this meeting, now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Borough Council of the Borough of Milltown, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, that the consent agenda previously prepared by the Borough Clerk be approved without the necessity of having the individual resolutions read by the Borough Clerk.
Okay, you've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
Move that this resolution be adopted.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Revelinsky, seconded by Council President Dixon, that the resolution is adopted. Will the Administrator please call roll?
Council President Dixon.
Aye.
Councilman Farkas.
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber.
Aye.
Councilman Legati.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer.
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky.
Aye.
We have 6 ayes, Mr. Mayor.
So moved. At this time, I will ask the Administrator to please read Resolution 18-066 by title.
A resolution of the Borough Council of Borough of Milltown authorizing bank accounts and the ability for departments to deposit and maintain bank accounts for the receipt of funds and fees.
Okay, you've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
Move that this resolution be adopted.
I second.
I have a motion by Councilman Revelinsky, seconded by Councilwoman Kerber, that the resolution is adopted. Is there any discussion?
Oh, but my question was, I thought we did that at the first meeting.
Yes, we do at the reorg meeting. This was an additional bank account that needed to be established for money that is going to be coming to us from the county.
Okay, that was strictly
Yeah.
the reason, that we're
It's
not
it's an additional
redoing
bank account
what
that
we've
just
already-
came.
We're not redoing anything we've already voted on.
No, ma'am.
Is that the $70,000 for tax maps?
No, this is not.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Just thought I'd ask.
Call the roll.
Will the Administrator please call roll?
Council President Dixon.
Aye.
Councilman Farkas.
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber.
Aye.
Councilman Legati.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer.
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky.
Aye.
We have 6 ayes, Mr. Mayor.
So moved. Okay, will the administrator please read Resolution 18-069 by title only, please?
Authorizing the emergency contract with BlackRock Enterprises for a water main repair on Riders Lane for an amount not to exceed $72,418.36.
Okay, you've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
I move that this resolution be adopted.
Second it.
I have a motion by Councilman Revelinsky, seconded by Council President Dixon, that the resolution is adopted.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Is there any discussion?
Yes, that I had it pulled, so I could ask another question about that. I thought we had a emergency contract, so I was wondering why we're voting on.
We
Yes.
have an emergency contract with another company, Mike, correct me if, I believe it's Montana. When they were called upon to come out and do this job, they were not available, and they suggested if we could contact another contractor, please go ahead, because it would be days at least before they could even come out with all the water breaks.
Okay.
So that's why we wound up going with another contractor.
So this is over and above what we pay. So
Well-
if Montana had done it, what would their cost be? I mean, and I guess the point I'm getting at is how much extra did we have to pay by calling this extra other company because the one that we contract with wasn't available?
These projects are handled directly by the utility department, so it's not really run through our office. So we're not sure how that would be, how to give an answer to that. I do know that that was a particular very difficult time of the year because of all the water line breaks, not only in Milltown, but in all the towns in the county and also in the state. So I'm not surprised that your contractor may have been tied up with regard to be able to react to that emergency.
If I'm not mistaken, this is not the first time Montana has not been able to respond to our emergency.
Correct, it has happened, yes, and being that this break was on Riders Lane over by Taco Bell, and I believe, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, how many feet down does that asphalt go? It's 18, thank you.
Yeah, depends
So
on where you are in
it's
Riders.
truly a huge, it was a huge project and an undertaking.
Well, my point here being, if Montana's not big enough to handle an emergency contract that we have with them, maybe we should rethink giving them the contract again in the future, because if they're not responding,
Sure.
I could guarantee you that BlackRock is charging us more than a contracted company would have to take care of these water main breaks. So maybe we keep that in the back of our heads and say, you know, next year, Montana, you didn't respond to 3 or 4 emergencies, we had to pay extra, you know, we might not award the contract to them next year.
If I may, just a friendly reminder that first of all, Ms. Mayor, for your information, whenever a contractor comes out and has to do work under the emergency contract, we still have to approve it via resolution, their payment. They submit a claim to us showing basically time and material for performing the work, and we still have to approve it despite having the contract already in place. Secondly, BlackRock was our contractor last year, and I believe that the pricing that was received was fair and pretty much in line with that of Montana. Now, who does the work faster or not is another story. But to your end, Mr. Legati, Councilman Legati, I did have a discussion with Mr. McClellan after the event, as well as John Eckert, regarding Montana's responsiveness. And what I'd really like to see is in next year's contract be a clause such that if, we'll use the current example, if BlackRock comes out and charges us $90 an hour for an operator, however, in Montana's bid it's $70 an hour, that Montana would be responsible for that balance.
Awesome. That'd be great.
It's been a very difficult winter, as you know. It's been very cold. We've had multiple breaks we've been able to take care of. This one is on Riders Lane in 2 locations. That was quite deep and needed to get out here, so Montana not being able to come out for 2 days is just not acceptable. But they're a well-equipped and large contractor, which is why we did award them the contract in the first
Fair
place.
enough.
Great. That answers my question very well, thank you.
Anyone else?
Ready?
Will the administrator please call roll?
Council President Dixon.
Aye.
Councilman Farkas.
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber.
Aye.
Councilman Legati.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer.
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky.
Aye.
We have 6 ayes, Mr. Mayor.
So moved. Oh, just before we move along from that one, just as a point, I kind of have a recollection in the past with a former councilman who made the I believe he made the remark that that line that seems to break a lot out there in Riders Lane and is really deep can be removed or shut down. So perhaps we could reach out to that former councilman and his recollection, if he can recall, of what his thoughts were on that many, many years ago. I have brought it up a few times over the years. It kind of gets swept under the rug and nothing happens. But I'll try to reach out to him and I'll report back to...
How about if we ask the engineer that's right here? I don't think so.
I don't recall any discussions about eliminating the line. I think there were some discussions about raising it because of the fact that it's, because it changes in grade on Riders Lane by the county with regard to the construction, it became deeper. So I think that the thinking at the time was to raise the line, although it is a cost of Milltown. I think that...
Is that the line that feeds East Brunswick?
No, there's connections, though. There's service connections along Riders for that, but... and that's because East Brunswick doesn't have a line there. But there are.
I'll get some clarification.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, though, it was to raise it there. I'd be concerned about eliminating that because it does provide a loop to the system up towards the upper part of Riders.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly isn't my intent to make a recommendation, but I do recall something, and I'll
probably
find out what that
it.
is and report back.
Okay.
Okay. Did we close that one yet? No. Yes, we did. Did you call the roll on that?
We closed on that one. We're moving on to 071.
71. At this time, will the administrator please read Resolution 18-071 by title only, please?
A resolution of the Borough Council of the Borough of Milltown supporting the submission of application for 2018 Sustainable Jersey Grants Program.
Okay, you've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
I move that this resolution be adopted.
I second.
I have a motion by Councilman Revelinsky, seconded by Councilwoman Kerber, that the resolution is adopted. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I had a question about this one as well. I was originally going to ask about the Street Smart New Jersey campaign project, but Mayor Neary did a good job of explaining that. So I see that the wording is a little vague, so that was why I wanted it pulled. It says the Green Team wishes to utilize this grant for the Street Smart New Jersey campaign project. So I guess I'm wondering about the wording of this resolution. Is this saying that you're wishing to use the $20,000 grant for the Street Smart program?
Well, what it is we want to apply for a Sustainable Jersey grant, and in order to do that, we're going to discuss it at the Green Team meeting once again, and part of that would be going to the Street Smart campaign for printing materials and other things that we might consider. We might do mock-up of what we're looking to do to purchase in the future, so that will be some costs, and other costs will be at no cost to us from Keep Middlesex Moving.
Oh, because I was just... After hearing his presentation, I was a little concerned that if you're asking for a grant of $20,000, he said everything was free. So what would the $20,000 go to if the Street Smart is completely paid for by the moving, whatever he said, that there's no cost to anyone?
Right. Well, this particular grant, we can apply up to $20,000. There's a $2,000 grant, a $10,000 grant, and of course a $20,000 grant. And it's based upon if you want to give an incentive, as opposed to writing tickets for people, crossing right or something like that, then you can purchase things to do that, a gift card or something to say, hey, they did do this. Also, we can have students give out some information to educate the community. That's all part of this process. And in order to have some of the funding, we would need to apply for the grant to support the other facets that we'll be discussing at a future meeting. The future stakeholders meeting, we're looking for mid-March or April, and that will be inclusive of all the council, anyone who wants to come from the public, local businesses, and such.
Okay. I mean, I have no problem voting aye on the resolution to submit for a grant, I would have a little issue if, hopefully, the green team can explore ways to use the grant for something that's not, that we're not already getting for free.
Right, well, we could do brochures as well. I know
Well,
that
he
one.
has that.
Yes, this is for the Street Smart campaign, correct. But if there's something else that they want to consider out of the realm of that.
But that's what, so in other words, that was my question. That has to specifically be for the Street Smart. If you're limiting yourself so that the green team is getting $20,000, it's only going to be for the Street Smart program, correct? You can't, because if it's in the resolution, you can't use those funds for other things.
Right, so if we want to do traffic calming and we want to do painting, that's going to cover the cost of the paint to do so. But it depends on the conversation we have. Like if you go to Highland Park, out of state, they really do a lot of traffic calming. That's not all-inclusive of keeping 106 moving.
Fine.
Is there any matching funds, or is this up to $20,000 and we don't have to, we're not responsible for, do we know the answer to that, or no?
Not at the moment, I don't recall seeing that on the application.
Okay, that answers it. Thank you, Dorian.
Thank you.
You
I'm sorry, what was that answer? I didn't hear the answer.
We're not sure on if there is a...
I submitted the application and all the information to the borough clerk, as I was supposed to do, and gave her the application, everything that she had, so that she could write the resolution.
Yeah, I'm assuming if the resolution doesn't say it, I'm going to... I hate to assume certain things, but I don't know the answer to the question on if we're responsible for anything.
Is there a deadline for submission of this grant?
February 28th. Yeah, I don't know why it wasn't put in here, but...
So we don't know if it's a dollar for dollar, 50%, we don't know that?
Well, there's nothing on the resolution, but that doesn't, I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen any of the paperwork, so I can't answer the
I
question.
have a question for the attorney. If the council supports this and we're awarded a grant, do we have to receive it?
No.
No, you don't have to receive it. You can
Okay.
reject it. You may not have friends later on at this program, but you don't have to. Also, I think, to the point raised by Councilman Mayer, perhaps we'd modify the language of this resolution in the third whereas to include where it says to utilize this grant for, and I think perhaps you may want to clarify that it's for purposes such as Street Smart New Jersey, traffic calming, and other related beneficial uses. That way you're not limited and you've expanded the scope appropriately.
That's great. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, will the folks who made the motion and second amend their motion and second to include the verbiage as outlined by the borough attorney?
Absolutely, if you just wouldn't mind repeating it so I could say.
The third whereas would now read, the Green Team wishes to utilize this grant for purposes such as the Street Smart New Jersey campaign project, traffic calming, and other related such beneficial uses. And Councilwoman Kerber, that matches the description that you provided?
Yes.
Okay.
Anyone else? Going once? Going twice?
I need to make a motion to amend the resolution, correct, since I didn't already do so.
And we had a second by Councilwoman Kerber to amend.
Yes, I second that.
The motion was amended by the same two who made the motion and the second.
Thank you.
Make sure we're on the...
Will the administrator please call roll?
Council President Dixon.
Aye.
Councilman Farkas.
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber.
Aye.
Councilman Legati.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer. Aye. Councilman Revelinsky.
Aye.
We have 6 ayes, Mr. Mayor.
So moved. Will the administrator please read Resolution 18-072 by title only?
A resolution of the Borough Council of the Borough of Milltown establishing the time, date, and place of the Borough Council's regular and agenda meetings during the year 2018.
Okay, you've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to amend the resolution to include the word agenda in all dates indicated in the attached schedule, however, referencing the criteria of the resolution itself.
Can I get a second on that?
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Revelinsky, seconded by Councilman Legati, that the resolution be modified to include the word agenda in the schedule in front of every meeting to reflect what is written in the actual body of the resolution. Is there any discussion? Will the administrator please call the roll?
Council President Dixon,
No.
Councilman Farkas,
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber,
No.
Councilman Legati,
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer,
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky.
Aye.
We have four, did I get that right?
4-2.
Four ayes and 2 nays?
Yes, motion passes.
Mr. Mayor.
Resolution is adopted.
Okay, thanks.
Will
Ready?
the administrator please read Resolution 18-073 by title only?
A resolution of the Borough Council of the Borough of Milltown to become a member of the National Cooperative Purchasing Program, commonly known as National Joint Powers Alliance.
You've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
Move that this resolution be adopted.
Second.
I have a motion by Council President Dixon, seconded by Councilman Farkas, that the resolution be adopted. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I just have a question for the business administrator, if you could provide a little bit of clarification as to the National Joint Powers Alliance.
What's the, I'm sorry?
National Joint Powers Alliance?
Right.
I think I know what it is,
It's
but...
like Wonder Twins.
What did you say?
I mean Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito?
It's like Sam's Club.
Yeah.
The National Sam's Club.
What's the?
You want to know what it is?
Joint Power Alliance.
You put it together and all...
I'll be honest with you, the clerk put this on, so I don't know. But I'm sure it's for, I believe that it's a purchasing cooperative, and there's multiple companies that are joined into this. I think we've used them actually before, and I thought we were a member, but I think we did not procure it the properly way when we became a member. So this is kind of correcting what we did, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe John Eckert used them when he purchased maybe the most recent bucket truck, I believe.
Okay.
I believe this was a way to try to get Musco Lighting on a list that the town can
I think
use.
Musco was the next one.
It was one of the co-op, they're all free, Gabriella told me, free to join, and they're just co-ops that would be available should the state not be available.
Right, and
Okay.
also, since we don't have a QPA, we're limited to the 17,500.
Right.
This kind of allows us a little bit more. I mean, obviously, council would still have to approve the purchases, but it kind of allows us so that we do not have to go out to bid.
Okay. Yeah, I was just, honestly, I'm thankful that I asked it, because it wasn't what I was anticipating. I was actually thinking the acronym is quite similar to the NJPPA.
Oh, okay.
So
Got
wait a
it.
second, did they change the name by any means? But, okay.
Got it.
Right. There's a few of them on here that would allow us to do that.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion? Would the clerk please, sorry,
Did
would
we-
the
I don't think we
administrator
have-
please call the roll?
Yeah, there was a motion and a
Do
second.
we have a motion? Okay, I'm sorry. Council President Dixon?
Aye.
Councilman Farkas?
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber?
Aye.
Councilman Legati?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer?
Aye.
And Councilman Revelinsky?
Aye.
6 ayes, Mr. Mayor.
So moved. Okay, next we will hear the report of the Department of Finance, Administration, and Planning, chaired by Council President Ron Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Currently, we're in meetings with department heads. We have our meeting scheduled later this week with our other people that we're going to go through the budget with. So we're still in the process of putting the budget together. And as soon as that is together, we hope to bring it before the council for a early passing. We'd like to get it done by March, and we'll just see how everything goes. Anything else, Denise? Anything
No, I
else?
think that's it, Council President.
Secondly, as of February 7th, the water and electric people that owe us for that, people in town owe for electric or are delinquent in their bills for $167,866.06. For water, it's $144,760.46, or a total of both for $312,626.52. A good portion of them are for small amounts. It could be for interest because their payment came in late. It could be for a lot of things. I'm not worried about that. But there's over 30 of them, over 20 of them that owe over $1,000. And there's a couple that owe over $2,000 and $3,000. And I am working now with Kelly to try and take action towards those people. The small borough, we need all the money we can to operate. We just can't leave it out there. And there's a lot of, you would not believe the excuses. And I will say this, just on the sidelight, Mayor. End of this year, end of last year, everybody ran to pay their taxes ahead of time so they could take them off. Well, the people that owe the most money are the ones that came in with their full tax payment. So I can't understand the difference here. So, just to bring us up to date on it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's my report.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from the Department of Public Safety, chaired by Councilman Nick Ligotti.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Milltown Police Monthly Report. Between January 16, 2018 and February 6, 2018, police have answered 1,135 calls for service. This number includes, but is not limited to, 911 and medical calls, traffic incidents, walk-in reports, and public contracts. Police conducted a total of 448 motor vehicle stops, which included special traffic, including cell phone, crosswalk, and seatbelt violations. 77 radar and traffic calming details were conducted in various locations during this time period. Police responded to 9 motor vehicle accidents and made 13 arrests, which included theft, drugs, DWI, and illegal weapons. Chief Kennelly is proud to announce the implementation of Operation Blue Angel. This program is designated for elderly or disabled residents who live alone. The program will provide a lockbox to residents who qualify, allowing police to gain access to their residence in an emergency. More information will be available as the program develops. Milltown Police Department continues to maintain all mandated training requirements and continue to train and practice at the highest standards in law enforcement. Police will continue strict enforcement of traffic laws, including speeding, cell phone use, and pedestrian crosswalks. We encourage residents to remain vigilant by calling and reporting any suspicious activity and traffic concerns. Milltown Police Department is currently accepting applications for part-time public safety telecommunicators and crossing guards. Information is available through the police department and is posted within Borough Hall. The only other thing I have for the police department is last Friday, Chief Kennelly and his staff were gracious enough to ask me to come in and take a tour of the police department, see how they achieved their accreditation, which we heard at the presentation at the agenda meeting this morning. And I can't imagine, I couldn't imagine the amount of work that they had to overcome in the last 2 years to get that accreditation. They really need, standing up and applauding for them when they got it, it doesn't even scratch the surface on the amount of work that those guys did to get their accreditation. I saw the before and the after, and it's mind-boggling, and someday maybe somebody will have another turn to walk through there and see what they did, and it's a great thing. I'd like to thank them for entertaining me for about 3 hours. It was very enlightening to someone like me who doesn't have a police background or law enforcement background, so I was getting an education. I asked a lot of questions, which I always do, and they were very nice and polite enough to answer all my questions. I'd just like to say thank you to them. All right, that takes care of the police. The Milltown Fire Department, month-end report for January 2018. Total number of fire calls, 12. Total number of training details, 2. Total number of work details, 5. Total number of meeting details, 1. Total number miscellaneous details, 3. Total incidents for the month is 23. The Milltown Fire Department is always looking for new members. Please stop by either firehouse on Monday nights to go to our website, milltownfire.org, for details. The department turned out with members in Class A uniforms for the wake of Police Chief Kennelly's mother. Chief Patalia hosted the kids from Joyce Kilmer for their annual Youth in Government activities, and on January 27th, L73 stood by the North Brunswick Engine No. 1 for cover assignment while they had their annual installation dinner. Crews stood in by house on January 4th during the snowstorm. Building and grounds for the fire department. The Main Street Firehouse experienced several bouts with freezing pipes due to the extended periods of below freezing temperatures in January. Portable heaters were brought in to help thaw the pipes and keep them from bursting. During this time, the Main Street Firehouse was without water. Toilets could not be flushed as well. Heat in Engine 22 Bay was repaired. Salt was delivered to both firehouses from the Public Works for winter season. This morning I was made aware of a leak to the Main Street Firehouse. Public Works Ralph Jesnowski, I believe, has responded, sent someone over today, and I think first thing tomorrow they're going to get on trying to fix the roof on that Main Street Firehouse. And that concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from the Department of Utilities, chaired by Councilman Rich Revelinsky.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For the Utility Department, month of January 2018, 54 daily station checks, 31 substation checks, 65 utility markouts. Water samples. The disinfectant residual testing was performed on January 3rd, 11th, and 17th. All testing was found to be within the acceptable parameters. Tree work. I'll say it again. Tree work. Dead and nuisance branches were removed in numerous areas throughout the borough, and the Utility Department oversaw the removal of stump grinding of roughly 20 trees coordinated with the shade tree, and most of the trees were interfering with overhead wiring or were diseased. Electrical utility. 5 street lights were repaired. Holiday decorations were removed on Main Street. Various electric meters were replaced. A broken primary wire was repaired on Cleveland Avenue. A unit heater was installed in the Senior Citizen Building. A unit heater was repaired in the Public Works Garage. Lighting was repaired at the Milltown Public Library. New fixtures have been received to replace the old fluorescent fixtures with more energy-efficient LED lighting. And a note, PSE&G is running a new 26 kilovolt line down North Main Street. The line will replace one of the lines that is currently on the transmission towers. The borough will benefit by the installation of new poles, transformers, improved sectionalizing, and new secondary wiring. Most of this work is complete at this time, and Verizon has to transfer cabling to new poles in order to remove the old ones. For the Water Department, water main breaks were repaired at 33 South Brook Drive, 61 First Street, 45 George Street, 108 First Street, and Crestwood Ave and First Street. All work was performed by the Utility Department with the help of Public Works. 2 water main breaks on Riders Lane were repaired by BlackRock Enterprises, as you heard us vote on earlier. Water was shut off at 4 abandoned homes where the pipes froze and broke, causing a public hazard. 3 leaking fire hydrants were addressed and put back into service. 3 leaking house services were identified and repairs were made by the property owners. Numerous broken water meters were replaced throughout the borough. Curb stops were located for various customers. Monthly generator inspections were performed by the department at Church Street and Elkins Lane pumping stations. A monthly water tower inspection was performed, and a 12-inch valve in the water tower was discovered to be cracked due to the temperature extremes. The utility department drained the tower and made necessary preparations for the contractor to replace the valve. The work is completed, and the water tower is now back in service. The valve has been heat traced to avoid future problems. Metering. As always, the utility department works hand in hand with the utility billing department to ensure accuracy of utility charges. We troubleshoot faulty meters and work very hard to resolve the billing issues that occur. Water main breaks. To make these repairs, oftentimes water has to be diverted or pressure reduced in the area of the break so the repair can be made. The amount of homes affected is always different. It depends on the amount of valves in the area, and whenever valves are operated, changes in water flow can occur, resulting in sedimentation in the line, causing harmless, discolored water. After the repairs are made, a hydrant is usually opened up in close proximity to flush out the sediment. Sometimes the sediment travels to areas that are not near the break. As it dissipates into the system, it is unpredictable. The best way to stay informed about water main breaks is to subscribe to Nixle. The utility department always sends out Nixle alert prior to making water main repairs to alert residents of a pending outage or possible discolored water situation. And Mr. Mayor, that concludes my report. However, I would like to add on there that when you think of these items, I noticed that we did get a Nixle. I subscribe. We do now have Nixle availability to several different groups. So if you want police alerts, if you want, I believe it's like general business alerts, more or less. So, you know, information about recreation programs possibly being canceled due to inclement weather, et cetera, as well as utilities. So I encourage all residents to subscribe as well as to evaluate which alerts you want. Because if you don't sign up for the utility alerts, you will not get an alert when your power is going out or your water has to be repaired. So with that, I'm done.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from the Department of Public Works and Recycling, chaired by Councilwoman Dorianne Kerber.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Borough Council meeting Monday, February 12, 2018. Along with all curbside collections, the Department of Public Works has the following report. Pothole repair has taken place at various locations around town and will continue, weather permitting. Road repair has taken place at Clay Street, JFK Drive, Highland and Oak to repair water main locations. On Violet Terrace, there was a sign repair. At Albert Avenue Park, leaf pickup has been completed. A new fan was mounted in the police station. Quotes have been solicited for possible park upgrades at Albert Avenue Park, Michelin Field, Bradford Borough Park, and Herbert Avenue. 2 Public Works and Utilities employees, I'm happy to say, have completed their CDL and have passed the CDL test. Public Works Director has met with the county and recycling contractor to address Milltown's issues with the collection of recycling. Please check Channel 15 and milltownnewjersey.org for DPW updates. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from the Department of Environmental, Health, and Social Services, chaired by Councilwoman Trina Mayer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Environmental Commission meeting took place on Wednesday, January 24th. That was the first meeting of the year. So we had the introduction of members, although I will say that the members, there was a little confusion because they had not been notified of their appointments, so I followed up with the borough clerk. It's nice to see that the Environmental Commission is very well represented here this evening. The new officers are Michael Shakarian is the president, Alan Godber is the vice president, and Krista Hannon is the secretary. There were several items on the agenda. The planning board and zoning board applications were discussed. In fact, while I mentioned the zoning board, tomorrow night, February 13th at 7:30 here in Borough Hall, the zoning board will be addressing the modification of the Frosty Air Service Center. So there wasn't an additional notification sent out for that, but if anyone is interested, the meeting will be here tomorrow night at 7:30. We also discussed the green team and the Sustainable Jersey points needed. We had several other items on the agenda, including quite a long discussion about an ordinance to ban plastic bags, which has been adopted in, is it Long Branch, Alan? Oh, okay. So that was something that we'll revisit further. We also discussed having a web presence for the Environmental Commission, which we can address with the new website as well. There were several other items, but in the interest of time, I'll cut it short there. But thank you. That concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from the Department of Recreation, chaired by Councilman Randy Farkas.
Thank you. Along with daily operations of deposits, registration forms, purchasing requests, as well as scheduling and interviewing new seasonal staff for the summer, the Recreation Department has the following. SAC reminders. If schools have a delayed opening, there is no AM SAC. PM SAC will go on until 6 p.m. unless a decision is made by 12 noon for inclement weather to close PM SAC. Parents will be notified via email and Facebook. If your SAC account is not up to date, please include the late fee in your payment. Monthly SAC fees are due the month prior. This does not include per diems. The Recreation Department is now accepting summer employment applications for the Borough Pool and Albert Avenue Summer Recreation Program. The deadline for all applications is March 1st. If you have worked prior, you still must submit an application for employment. You may obtain an application online. All applicants must be 15 years old by March 31st. No exceptions. For pool managers and supervisors, you must be at least 21 years old. Please note again, the deadline for application is March 1st. The deadline for eligibility is March 31st. Adult child yoga has begun. There is still room if you are interested. Yoga is for ages 5 to 9 years old, accompanied by an adult. We meet on Saturdays. We are offering an intermediate level co-ed adult volleyball Sundays beginning February 25th at Parkview Gym. Registration forms are online and available at REC. Residents and non-residents are welcome. Look for the registration forms mid-February for spring tennis, spring soccer, and Fundamental Fours T-ball. They will be available at the Rec Department. Email blasted through the schools, available online, and sent out through Constant Contact. If you still have not signed up to get Rec Ramblings, news, and updates via email, please contact the Recreation Department to get on the list. Don't miss deadlines, programs, and events. There is an opt-out option if you no longer wish to receive the emails. We are planning a trip to beautiful Sunday, May 20th for the 2 p.m. show. It's never too early to plan for Mother's Day. Tickets are $165 and include the bus from Milltown. Deadline is March 2nd. Hunterdon Hills Playhouse presents Steel Magnolias, April 28th for a matinee show. Price of $80 per person includes a full 3-course lunch, tickets to the play, gratuity, and bus transportation. Deadline is March 2nd. We are offering a cruise to Alaska, June 7th to the 15th, 2018. This is backed by popular demand and our 3rd trip running the Alaska cruise. Inside passage, great price. Please contact Recreation for all the details. We are taking reservations for the following baseball games. Yankees versus Tampa Bay, Sunday, June 17th for the 2 p.m. game. This is the old timers game. Great seats. What better way to treat Dad on Father's Day? Tickets will go fast and are limited. $110 per ticket, which includes bus transportation from Milltown. Only paid reservations will be accepted. Deadline is April 6th, unless sold out prior. Mets versus the LA Dodgers, Sunday, June 24th, 1 p.m. game. Tickets are $90 each and includes bus transportation. Great seats. Deadline is April 6th. The Recreation Committee will meet on Wednesday, February 21st, 2018 at 7 p.m. in Borough Hall. And that concludes the report.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is introduction of ordinances. And tonight we have ordinance number 18-1454. Will the administrator please read the ordinance by title?
An ordinance of the Borough of Milltown, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 8 of the Borough Code of the Borough of Milltown, entitled School-Aged Child Care Program.
Okay, you've heard the reading of this ordinance. What is your pleasure?
Move that this ordinance be adopted on first reading, published according to law, and that a public hearing be held at our next regularly scheduled council meeting at 7 p.m. in council chambers.
Second.
And the date of that will be?
March 12th?
February something.
26th.
Are we going by this new calendar?
February 26th.
Oh, that's right.
February,
That's right.
right. Thank you.
February 26th.
I can't make it.
Okay, we had a motion by Council President Dixon, I believe, seconded by Councilman Farkas, that the ordinance be adopted on first reading, published according to law, and that a public hearing be held at our next regularly scheduled council meeting, which will be February 26, 2018, 7 p.m. at Borough Hall. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'm wondering what the ordinance is based on. Looking at it, I can't tell if times changed. Have we changed the rates, increased the rate schedule? What's different from this ordinance than previous ordinances?
Yes and yes.
Exactly.
Rates and times.
Okay, can you elaborate?
I believe the start time, I believe it was 7:15, it's now 7 o'clock. And the rates, I think it's just the yearly increase. I don't have the old ordinance in front of me, but there is a slight increase for programs for SAC.
Is that from a result of the increase in cost for labor for the SAC program?
I am not sure, to be honest with you. I don't know.
If you could get that information for me, I'd appreciate it. Just wondering why it's increasing in cost.
Sure.
Anyone else? Will the clerk, please, will
That's
the
all right.
administrator please call the roll?
Council President Dixon.
Aye.
Councilman Farkas.
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber.
Aye.
Councilman Legati.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer.
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky.
Aye.
We have 6 ayes, Mr. Mayor.
So moved. Is there any old business to come before the council?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Unfortunately, I missed the discussion meeting that we had last week as I was out of town for work, but regarding the lighting proposed request for the Little League field. It's my understanding that we need to do a resolution to request for grant money, even matching funds from the county, but I didn't see that in the resolutions for this evening, so I'm wondering how we can move forward with that proposal or any of the proposals that would require the grant money from the county without said resolution. I'm sorry?
There hasn't been a dollar amount ascertained as to this point on how much is looking to be asked of the county.
Can't you just ask them for a lot? And the reason I say that a little tongue-in-cheek, we've got a lot of projects to do in this town.
Now, we want to make sure we cover them all.
Well, I mean, we take the worst-case scenario for the lighting, we take the worst-case scenario for that. If the county gives us half, we got to pick and choose what we do. But I mean, it seems like everyone's on the time frame here, but we're not taking the steps to necessarily move forward.
After speaking with the county will provide up to $3 million.
Okay, we want $3 million.
And we have 70 of it, and we have to match.
But obviously realize,
1.5 million.
oh, when I spoke with Rick Lear, I thought it was 3.
Total project cost $3 million.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay, 1.5. And what they would do and everything is they would reimburse $500,000 per year up to 3 years. So realize, so that we have to come up with the other half of the money.
Understood. But, I mean, again, if we apply for a grant, they say, sure, we'll give you 1.5 million, and we say, you know what, in the end, we really only want 200,000, we could do that, correct?
Yeah.
You could.
You can. I don't know that I would suggest doing it, but you can do it.
Well, I just don't want to delay, trying to make any improvements to our parks any further than absolutely necessary. It's something that's a long time coming and a big part of the quality of life in town. So.
Well, I know you weren't here, and there was a lot of discussion about it. And the feeling is that we could go and just concentrate on Little League lights, or we could kind of expand it and try to take care of things as you're saying. At that meeting, I thought I made it very clear to people to have a meeting and to discuss it and come up with a number. And evidently that never happened. So, with that, I would like to call a meeting, and I'd like the following there. BACFO, I'd like the borough attorney, I'd like the borough engineer and the clerk, I'd like Ralph Jazanowski and John Eckert from our DPW and Utilities. I would like present Councilman Dixon and Farkas, and a representative from the Milltown Little League, all present at this meeting. So I'd ask Denise if you could get the emails out to get that going. This will be my meeting. And I would suggest that Councilwoman Kerber and Revelinsky meet with their department heads ahead of time to express their views on what they want, because I will be at the meeting and 2 council people. So it's my meeting, so I can pick and choose. It's not that I don't love you, but I think I need to be in the room, because I don't know what happened after those folks came in and made this plea, but evidently, I guess I wasn't taken seriously. So let's please get that done. If we can get this meeting together, I don't care if you do it during the day, during the weekend, Valentine's Day, Easter Sunday, whatever. Sooner the better. Let's get it done, get the meeting done, and move forward, because I certainly don't appreciate what happened here this evening, and some other things too. Okay. So we'll have this meeting and we'll take care of the situation.
Just go over one more time, Mayor, and I apologize, the players in the meeting. I know it's myself, you, the Borough Attorney, the Clerk, Councilman Farkas, Council President Dixon, and a representative from Little League. Did I get everyone?
And the Borough Engineer.
Borough Engineer. Sorry, Mike.
Okay. Ralph and John.
Okay. And I think I have everybody else right.
And I would expect everybody to show up with numbers. Okay, numbers for playground equipment, numbers to fix things, numbers that some people might want to contribute. Whatever you have, bring it, because I'm hoping we walk out the door that there's a piece of paper that has a dollar amount on it. Because, quite honestly, I don't appreciate knuckle dragging. Okay, and evidently, since last meeting to here, there's been a lot of it. Okay, I hear like fingernails down the chalkboard.
Some of it illegal.
Okay, and some of it not really good. Okay, so let's do this. Let's get this meeting done, and we'll move on. I mean, if we want to force it and see if the Little League is going to get lights all by itself, we can have that vote, or we can see if we're going to do this a different way, and we'll see how that goes too. So that would be my suggestion under old business. Any other old business?
Well, Mr. Mayor, just to get education, maybe somebody can clarify for me. Based on what happened here tonight, with this grant, could we just do tonight, make a motion that we move forward with the Little League portion? We have the numbers. We know what that's going to cost. We know that we have some funds that are available to the borough so that we won't have to go out and lump it in with a bond ordinance. Is it possible to do that now, tonight, and see where we stand with that, just based on what happened, to show that we heard them, maybe we want to try and do something?
I think my word is good enough. If I tell somebody I've heard them and we're going to move on it, I think that's more than sufficient. I certainly am not going to be bullied by anybody to make a movement. Now, we're not obligated to just take care of the Milltown Little League. We're here to take care of every resident in this town. Okay? And if the county of Middlesex wants to pony up some money to help us out, God bless them. I mean, they're stiffing us out of $70 grand for tax maps, but I can't help that. Okay? But we can certainly put money in for this and try to get some help from them folks. Okay?
I'm not meaning to make you upset. I'm just meaning to
Oh, you're not making me upset.
If we can.
I'm just trying to be realistic about it. If the county's willing to give us $1.5 million, I'm going to make the pile deep. Why am I going to go for a half of 150 grand? We probably have another 300 grand in playground stuff we need to do.
It's just about.
So whatever you guys are the council. You guys make the decision. You want to vote? We'll hold a vote.
Well, but to Mr. Alexi's point is that we went and we did a little due diligence. We found out from PSE&G that we could use, that money, which would probably be.
Excuse me, Nick, please do not mention that. That is a confidential agreement that is not to be shared with the public anywhere.
And how it got there, I want to know.
But you also have
know
to,
that.
but you also have to
Here
understand,
we
too,
go.
there's two resolutions we passed. Gabriella also said, the clerk, that we have to have a purchasing power. Now we have the purchasing power. But we also said at the last meeting to get everything together so we know what we're going to be doing as a whole, instead of piecemealing this, which is the wrong thing to do, and rushing into other things.
Well, I wanted to know if we could piecemeal it, and we talked at length about that money at the last meeting, and it wasn't confidential then. Why is it all of a sudden confidential tonight?
It was certainly confidential then.
Nobody stopped anybody. You certainly
We're talking
didn't.
about it in a public meeting.
I did not discuss any dollar amounts or
You didn't
where
stop
it
anything
came
from
and
happening. We instructed the borough BA and finance to find out if that money was able to use in an open public meeting. You didn't stop her from. You didn't stop anything then.
I was not told that it was confidential, not until not too long ago, Councilman.
Neither was I. So to say,
And neither was I.
nobody was told that.
Okay, well, now you're all told.
Since when did it become confidential? When?
It was confidential when the
When the agreement
resolution
was
was
made.
adopted and everything by the council.
So then that information should have been shared with the entire council, not just certain members of the council. And then we wouldn't have this problem. But when we have communication breakdown and only select people get information, this is what
Communication
happens.
breakdown. Nobody picks up a damn phone and calls each other because you all hate each other. Grow up.
Present company included in that. I would hope you include yourself in that.
Whatever, Nick.
Well, you have to,
Grow
wear
up.
it. Wear it. If you're going to yell like that, you got to wear it.
Grow up, Nick.
Me.
Yeah.
I'm not the one screaming and banging my gavel all over the
But
place.
if you had one, you'd bang it.
All right. I'd like to make a motion that we move forward with the Little League lighting per the grant money from the county and use whatever funds are available to us so that we don't have to go to a bond ordinance.
Second.
Call the roll.
Excuse me?
Should I call the roll? I'm sorry.
I would ask the engineer, with a resolution like this, first off, the money has to be spent by the municipality first, correct?
My understanding with the county open space funds, they're on a reimbursement basis.
So the municipality would have to first budget for that's my understanding anyways, the municipality has to budget for that and pay it, and then once it's paid, then the county reimburses. So to pass the resolution, you'd also have to figure how you're going
Have
to
the
be
funding
paying,
in
how you're going
place.
to put the funding in place for it.
There wouldn't
That would
to
be
be
the
any
idea
funding.
behind the meeting.
I'm sorry?
That would be the idea behind the meeting I just called.
That's what you're having a meeting.
That's what the meeting's for.
Right.
Nobody would have a
Don't
meeting.
need anything
I'm
else.
I'm putting a meeting together.
right.
Please come.
But you said the meeting
Well,
was
we
also
can't
about
all-
the public,
No, just
the
yours.
other parks and stuff.
Yeah.
This motion is to deal strictly with the lights.
You got to spend the money first.
I don't know. There's a motion on the floor. Don't we have to act on it?
You do have to act on your motion.
Sure. Okay. We have a motion by Councilman Legati, seconded by Councilman Farkas, that we spend money we have not yet appropriated. Is there any discussion? Will the administrator please call the roll?
Council President Dixon?
No.
Councilman Farkas?
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber?
No.
Councilman Legati?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer?
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky?
No.
We have 3 ayes and 3 noes, Mayor.
Well, I know how I'd vote, but am I allowed to break this tie?
You are allowed to break this tie.
Pardon me?
Yes, you are.
I am. My vote would be no until after the meeting and we discuss it in full and put together a proper ordinance and do the proper paperwork that makes it legal.
I think he asked for a yes or a no.
Oh, then it was no.
was
Mr. Mayor, may I comment?
You may.
Thank you. So, Rich, I agreed with you, and at the meeting that you missed, I sort of said the same thing, like, let's try and get the most bang for our buck, like it's a 50% off sale, although my husband used to say, you really save money at a 50% off sale if you don't go shopping at all and buy anything. But, if the county's willing to give money, great. We don't want to dip into it. So we got into a big discussion about the lights and other things to add on, and we talked about maybe coming up with an amount. And Mr. Mayor, you said you didn't see an amount. I saw an amount that came around in an email from Denise that we were talking about maybe submitting to the county to get the 50% off. And also in terms of collaboration, if you recall, I specifically stopped that night after the meeting to have a beer with you and Councilman Dixon to ask if you would consider putting something on the agenda for tonight so that we could move forward with this. And then I was disheartened to see that it wasn't on the agenda at all.
We were still waiting to have a meeting to get the final numbers. I have no idea. It wasn't reported to me what any engineering costs might be. It wasn't reported to me the final numbers from Mr. Jazanowski in regards to upgrades done at the park or repairs that needed to be done, or for any of the equipment that we were looking to purchase. To me, it just doesn't make sense to go out and bond for lights and then have to do bonding costs again in another month if we so desire to do other upgrades at the park. If we can't have a meeting, put something together within a couple days, I don't understand the big problem here. We're trying to force an issue to do things that can certainly wait a week and get proper numbers and put it all together. It doesn't make sense.
But it could have been up for discussion again.
Well, it certainly was up for discussion.
I didn't know it was
and a meeting. I called for a meeting.
But not until it wasn't. So in other words, I wish it would have been on the items for discussion. Agenda. It would have been on the agenda.
There was a meeting to be held by the Recreation Department and the Finance Department. When was that meeting?
Well, it went...
Last week.
We wound up to have a public meeting. It wound up being on, what, last week? Last Tuesday?
Right. During that meeting, we discussed that there would be a meeting and all the numbers are put together.
Right.
When was that meeting held?
There was no meeting held
All right.
yet.
And no one was in attendance. That's my point. Let's have a meeting. I'm facilitating a meeting. And I won't bring my hammer.
There were emails that went around, though.
Right, we got numbers for the lighting with the Little League.
Yeah.
All the other stuff, who's responsible for getting the numbers for the other stuff? I don't know who's responsible for that.
That's why we're going to have the meeting, and I asked everyone to bring their numbers. So
Well,
we put it all together.
Those are the people you should be yelling at.
The proper paperwork gets put together, and we go through the process.
Right.
There's a legal process we have to follow.
Right.
Right.
You know, Randy and I had something for the Little League put on the agenda meeting. You had a special meeting. We got all of our information. We got you engineering numbers. We got you lighting numbers. We gave you everything that you wanted in that meeting and after that meeting. All the other numbers you wanted, you're not yelling at Randy and I. We gave you everything. Everything else was supposed to come from other people. And you're yelling at the two of us.
I'm not yelling at you, and I'm certainly not really yelling at Randy. I want to have a meeting. That's all.
You called for it.
Right, and so I called for it.
Like that one, show up.
Okay, you have to put things together in order to get financing. You have to have an agreement with the county to even participate.
But we have the numbers. We have the numbers.
Okay.
We have the proposal from Musco.
Okay.
We need engineering costs. Mike, do you have engineering costs?
We have not finished engineering costs. We will probably finish our estimate. We will finish our estimate this week on the lighting. Lighting is a little more difficult than the estimate that Musco provided. There are issues with regard to the foundations of these lights. The ground at that park, if you go back in history, is questionable. And one of the things that Musco put in their estimate was several disclaimers. So rather than drag this out with regard to those issues, we are working through them. We should have all those issues worked out this week so that we'll be able to provide you an engineer's estimate for the lighting at that time. With that, our costs will also be included.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, if I may for just a second. I don't mean to drag this on. I was just asking why we weren't moving forward with it. Truth be told, I think that the mayor's right, which is why I voted no tonight, simply because I think there's a lot more that if we can get a 50% off sale, that we need to do in this town. Albert Avenue Park, some of our pocket parks, work down at the gazebo, fencing, benches around Mill Pond. The list goes on and on. We've got a bike path project that was never completed yet, to my knowledge. I mean, I think we've got a lot more to look at than simply lights. So I appreciate the mayor's idea here for postponing it until we get the numbers. I'd rather not see it all going at once. I'm sorry.
I'll
please.
make a copy for you. I'll give it to you.
I'd just prefer to see that these opportunities don't come around all that often. That when they do, let's take the full advantage of it within reason that we can. So I think we need to evaluate all aspects. So, just putting the number in now, I don't want the county to bless it and say, good, here's the money for the lights, and then we go, but wait, we've got this to do, and they go, too late. So
it's not too late. They'll fund any project. It doesn't have to be all at once. We don't need a bond ordinance. None of that's true. So we can do it right now. We can get the ball moving right now tonight. Well, I guess we can't since we voted it. We got voted.
Now, last year we approved, or 2 years ago, 2 years ago, we approved for the 120 Kutha Avenue. We had a resolution that had specifics in there. We're just going to, that's why we have leaders sitting up here, the governing body. We want to do a full project, not a partial project. And they didn't come to us last year about the mountain to the last minute either. We need time. And I think the committee meetings needs to be discussed as well. And, Councilmember Bielinski and I will discuss it with our staff so we can get moving on this. And then you can have your financial meeting and get a collaboration. That's what the whole Street Smart campaign is too. It's not just us doing all the talking. We've got to reach out to the community. It's just the same thing. So.
Any other old business? Any new business?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, just real quick. We got an email this past week from, I'm going to guess it was the county, and one of the attachments was for the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank, or what they're calling now the Water Bank. Do you have any information on that, Mike?
We're still in the process of studying it, but what happened is that the NJEIT has increased the scope of the projects that it does now, and they always did water projects, stormwater projects, and wastewater projects. They call them clean water and drinking water. We understand that that program is going to be expanded now to include road projects, so that now remember, these are not grants, they're low-interest loans, which you have taken advantage of before. I think ultimately the NJEIT is going to be, and don't quote me on this, but just my own opinion is that they will be ultimately doing all kinds of projects, because the program is just done such good work also in Milltown with regard to how it's been able to go through and provide low-interest loans. So right now we're studying what the changes are. We'll know hopefully by your next meeting.
I printed this off, so I just wanted to go through some highlights, because we've had water line issues in the town, and that's certainly one of the things that gets covered by this. There's nano loans with a 50% principal forgiveness. There's a lead service line replacement program. I'm not sure that we would qualify for that. And then the thing that's really interesting is there's an asset management that's 100% principal forgiveness. So if there's any anticipated work in the utility department, specifically water, and I think it covers sewer, there is an excellent opportunity here to save the residents money and use these products from the Water Bank of New Jersey.
Mike, I just wanted to let you know, Sustainable Jersey has a webinar tomorrow on asset management and finance. So I can forward you that information if you want to listen in, because what Jersey Water Works does, NJDEP, all the state, like I said before, I'm on this one committee and 3 others, Green Infrastructure. So I can forward that to you so you can listen in. They really are tapped into everything. And
we are currently doing an asset management plan for many of our clients. Mm-hmm. Fortunately for Milltown, there's a question as to whether or not you are compelled at this point to do it, in light of the fact that you are, trying to watch your costs and your taxes. We've been able, with your administrator and I, we've been able to defer that. Ultimately, you're going to need to, asset management plan is basically a plan. You actually, without calling it that, have taken steps many years ago to provide that. And essentially, it's a plan that shows stepped improvements, phased improvements. and it's hard to justify spending a lot of money on preparing a plan. But it basically is what you've been doing. You have a capital improvement plan, you know, the last 5 years you've been using. So it essentially glorifies that. But the state, I don't know, will fund fully Milltown, unfortunately, because of some of the details of the program. We had checked into it. I don't think they'll fund it fully in Milltown. They sometimes will give you a reduction in cost, but it's basically you covered under your loan program.
Excuse me, Councilman Farkas?
Yes.
Did you have any more that you were talking?
Oh, no, that was it.
That was it?
That was
Okay.
it.
Councilman Reynolds, do you want to put a Councilman Farkas on that?
Absolutely.
Looks like a lot of great stuff.
Do you want it or you want it?
Give it to me.
No, I'm going to give it to him first. Then he'll give it to you.
Great communication.
Any other new business? Seeing none, I'll close it. Audience comments. Please make them brief. We're tired.
Steve Gregus, 25 Lincoln Avenue, a member of the Historical Society. I'll try to make this as quick as possible. I had mentioned last year that the Historical Society was in the middle of a major reorganization project. This year is our 50th anniversary, and we plan on having an open house at the end of the year. So we've been busy reorganizing room by room, doing major cleanups, reorganizing our displays, doing some small repairs. Last year we paid for a new roof on the museum. This year we plan on replacing the front porch and staircase on the front of the museum because it needs it. Last year when I had the roofer there, I asked him to look at the porch roof over the museum because we were having some issues. The soffits were all rotting out. So he came up with a plan to properly repair it, and he gave me a formal proposal on it. And what it would involve would be to remove all the roofing down to the existing wood deck, install 2x6 rafters, bypassing the old built-in gutter system, and also slightly elevating the existing wood deck as high as possible underneath the existing windows, installing new decking, install ice water shield and Owens Corning duration roofing, replace the fascia as needed, wrap it in white aluminum coil, install seamless white gutters and leaders, then clean up and remove all the garbage off site. And the cost of this project is $4,700. And I'm asking council at the next, if this could be put on the next agenda meeting to possibly come up with funding for this. We've been spending some of our money and we can use a little help. It is a borough building. This has to be done, and I don't want a quick fix either. I want to do it right. The roof that we installed, that's good. It's got a 50-year warranty on it, so we don't have to worry about that for a long time. So I'm just asking if the borough can help us out, and it's $4,700. And again, if this could be put on the agenda meeting, you know, for approval or whatever. So.
Being that this is part of something in our public lands, could this also fall under recreation?
Could or under public buildings?
Yeah.
Buildings and grounds?
I mean, we're looking to do roofs on gazebos.
It's a museum.
Yeah, I wonder, yeah, probably. Build that into the grant.
Put it in.
Because again, we plan on using
Get
some
any
of our money
information you have, give it to the BACFO.
Yeah, if you can give me a copy of that and take that to our meeting with us.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Joe Matrita, 25 West Foch Avenue. On the Sustainability New Jersey application, that's not matching funds. That grant is solely, that's a PSE&G grant, so it's all, if we get the $2,500 grant, we don't have to put anything into it. That grant does have to be applied for by you guys. As a member of the Green Team, we can't do it because there's a big, long checklist on it. I mean, we'll work on a submission of it, but it has to be applied for by council. And one other thing I want to bring up is the state of New Jersey has funded an app for each town, and it's called My Waste. And the My Waste app for all smartphones has all the input goes into this is for township scheduling of solid waste and recycling. And it's great for residents because it'll have all the programs, all the phone numbers, it'll have their collection days on it, it'll have the county recycling days on it. And this app used to cost like $10,000, but now the state, through the county, is offering it free to us. So I think we should look into it because it'd be great for residents. You don't have to print a calendar out anymore. They download the app. It has bells in it to remind you to put the trash out, bells in it to recycling day. And East Brunswick has been using it for years. It's been a great success. So just bring it to your attention. Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll close audience comments. Council comments. Hearing none, I'll close council comments. Mayor already made his comments. I'll take a motion for adjournment.
So be it.
Second.
I have a motion by Council President Dixon, seconded by Councilwoman Kerber, that we adjourn. Will the administrator please call roll?
Council President Dixon.
Aye.
Councilman Farkas.
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber.
Aye.
Councilman Ligotti.
Aye.
Councilwoman Mer.
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky. 6 ayes, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you and good night, everybody.